mute.
Carry on.
Oh, receive.
She's naughty. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting. I declare the meeting open. And are there any apologies? Councillor Graham. Happy to move. Councillor Catherwood, seconded. Councillor Cole. All those in favour? Aye. Gives me great pleasure. Julie's going to do a whakatauki to open the meeting today.
Bear with me.
You're fine. It's a really good opportunity for the staff and other councillors to be inclusive and any time, any meetings, please just let us know if you want to have a go. So.
Okay. No te roro, nā ko te roro, ka ora ai te iwi. With your contribution and mine, the people will thrive.
Well, thank you, Julie. Well done. Do we have any urgent business or late items? No? Right. Is there any declarations of interest? Clear. No. We'll move on to the public forum, and we've got 3 speakers today. First up, we have Jan from Pure Valley. Welcome, Jan.
Thank you. And good afternoon to you all. I just thought I'd start because I did speak last month, with just a little introduction to who I am. So I'm not just this voice from, causing trouble. I was raised on a sheep and beef farm at Romahapa, and I have lived and worked in Fiji, in Ethiopia, and Indonesia. I was a teacher in Auckland at Tokomairero High School, and I was senior tutor at Telford for a number of years before I retired. We've got 3 sons, my husband over there, and one of them you may know, Simon Johnston, up at Miller's Flat, where he's digging out some gold. Links with South Otago, my great-great-grandparents, so Catherine and Alex Livingston came to Tairemouth in 1853, and Livingstonia Park is named after them, donated by my great-aunt. In the Puarua Valley, we have land that's right beside Green Park Scout Camp, the Green Park, Green Park was donated to the Scouts by my uncle, Alan Green. And my father, Clyde Gardner, who died last year in October, he's 96. He was a Clutha County councillor in the 1960s. So firstly, I want to read, I read something the other day. It was something a councillor from a different council told his constituents at a community meeting. He told them local councils differ from Parliament and that there are no opposition parties. So they, his constituents, had that job. He advised concerned constituents to be like the opposition, to question or challenge the councillors, respectfully, of course, and to expect transparency from council about their decisions. Now, there are only half the number of councillors, so our role as your constituents, bringing issues before council is even more important. So here's our issue, and I'm speaking on behalf of Forest and Bird. The issue is transparency. 6 weeks ago, on the 23rd of February, you all received an email asking for an explanation for your vote against safe zones on beaches. And we got 2 responses. One councillor said that speed limits were sufficient. The other was from a councillor who supported safe zones but was not prepared to pursue the matter. So on the 5th of March, we requested an answer at this same public forum. That did not occur, so you received a follow-up email on the 24th of March. There were 2 further responses. Thank you to those. One of you said that speed limits were sufficient. The other gave no reason for supporting safe zones. Unfortunately, 6 of you did not respond. Now, we know your time is limited, particularly with a smaller council, but surely you could have found 10 minutes to reply. Not doing so means council is not being transparent. We are your ratepayers and need to know the reasons why you make your decision. Could we have your responses to why you voted against safe zones now, please?
I'm sorry, we're not in a position to answer questions right at the moment, but I will follow up and reiterate. I did have Mayor's Office reply with the live stream of the workshop, and you could see everyone's decisions that day. So I don't know why we need to be explaining that again now when you've already been provided.
Well, it was more the reasons for those decisions. We didn't hear that. We just heard that that speed limits would be sufficient, and 4 people voted against that.
We debated it quite rigorously. That'd be fair to say, councillors, and it was all recorded. It was on that recording that I sent.
Yes, I've seen that recording. I did a transcript of that recording, so I'm very familiar with it. Again, I didn't really understand why safe zones for some beaches was not, especially for those people crying out for help, was not reflected. And Forest and Bird did do a survey before the elections asking, and those people that responded, a couple of them, actually said that they thought safe zones were a good idea.
Well, all I can say is it was all recorded on that live stream. Everyone's comments about and the reasoning why and the vote and the way it went. So I don't know if there's much more.
Okay.
Sorry.
So were there any questions?
Any questions? Thank you,
Okay,
Jan.
thank you.
Ray. Well, Roy.
Yeah, thank you. Roy Johnston. I also live in the Purua Valley with my wife Jan. I worked as a geothermal resource scientist consulting on exploration and development of geothermal around the world. I did lots of work in Indonesia, but also in Ethiopia, Kenya, France, Greece, Japan, USA, El Salvador, Papua New Guinea, and others. I retired, yeah, right, in the Purua Valley in 2008, and now run a farm with sheep, and we have a commercial hazelnut orchard. I'm co-chair of Forest and Bird South Otago. I do 1 day a week of predator trapping in the Catlins and reserves and along the coast where hoiho breed. South Otago Forest and Bird members do more than 5,000 hours of volunteer work in South Otago every year. So it's not insignificant. We put a heap of work in to look after the environment. Forest and Bird South Otago are very disappointed about the approach this council has taken to the review of the vehicles on beaches bylaw. The previous council promised to review safe zones, but during the workshop in December last year, when you had the issue on the agenda, safe zones were hardly mentioned. I'm sorry, Your Honour, it wasn't debated. There was certainly no informed debate on the issue. It was not debated. Clutha Council has an extremely poor record of looking after the environment. I have 3 examples. There was no council support for marine reserves in the Catlins as part of the Southeast Marine Protection Forum. And now, weho, yellow-eyed penguins, are almost extinct. I hope you're all aware of that and take responsibility for that. At the Nuggets, there were 23 pairs in 2012, and now there are none. A few years ago, this council allowed raw sewage to discharge for 8 months from council treatment plants into our local rivers. The issue was only dealt with when a member of the public complained. The council was subsequently fined by the Otago Regional Council $500,000. Ratepayers' money. And you quibble about a few dollars. We now have no korora, little blue penguins along the coast from Kaka Point to the Nuggets. Vehicles on beaches and dogs are likely cause for this loss. When the vehicle on beaches bylaw came into force, it was going to be all about council education and signage, and that would be sufficient to change behaviour. Your Freedom Camper Rangers have done a really, really, really good job of dealing with driver issues when seen or notified, but they're not everywhere all the time, and we have quite a few beaches where you have vehicles. I was at Port Molyneux the other day and noted that there was no sign at the vehicle access point at the north end of the parking area. There were, however, vehicle tracks going into the dunes, which is explicitly forbidden in your bylaw. To compound the issue, the vehicle tracks went right through an archaeological site, which is something that this council is supposed to be looking at. And to cap things off, the vehicle tracks went right through a wildlife management area. It's just not good enough. Since the vehicle on beaches bylaw was introduced in 2023, it's become obvious that it's not been desired effect of improving behaviour of driver on beaches. We still have vehicles harassing wildlife, ripping up the sand dunes, doing donuts, driving and parking on the sand dunes. Again, it's just not good enough. There is another nail in the coffin of the ecosystem every time a vehicle drives on a beach. Young shellfish are crushed in the sand. Insects like sandhoppers are squashed, along with annelid worms. Seabirds especially rely on these species for survival. The bylaw at present allows people to drive on beaches as if it were a road. That people can drive their four-wheel drive up and down Kaka Point Beach legally. Why then can people sit on a road at the Kaka Point Beach? In February, the police were called when there was a beach party on Roseback Terrace. Should residents call the police when they see people sitting on the Kaka Point Beach? Because it is a road. Unfortunately, the administration of vehicles on beaches has been allocated to you under the Local Government Act 2002. It's your responsibility to administer. The current bylaw is weak and just facilitates the undesirables to behave poorly on our beaches. At the workshop in December, it appeared that the council thought that the vehicle on beaches was only a Catlins issue. It is not. During the initial bylaw consultation, there was significant concern from residents all the way from Taurumouth South, and the issues remain Taurumouth, Crystals Beach, as well as in the Catlins. At the workshop, Councillor Catherwood indicated that cost was a potential potential consultation was a reason for not investigating safe zones, and indicated his preference to investigate a speed limit for beaches. Unfortunately, the same people who are causing problems at the moment are not going to take any cognizance of speed limits. And how is this going to be policed? Is the council going to install speed cameras on every beach where there is vehicle access? Is the council going to provide your freedom camping ranges with calibrated speed cameras? Or, as seems to be the case, the council is expecting local concerned residents to police the bylaw and purchase calibrated speed cameras to make it effective. Speed limit signage will also be required at each beach access point, and as I've indicated earlier, the council does not appear to be good at vehicle beaches signage. A speed limit will also require additional monitoring to be effective. Is the council going to increase the number of rangers and give rangers longer working hours? Speed limits on beaches will also have significant costs and make the bylaw more complex to administer. Safe zones on particular beaches is a much more simple and straightforward approach. No vehicles on beaches is cut and dry. There is no argument. It works for Dunedin City Council, Invercargill City Council, why not Clutha Council? We're still waiting for your reasons. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? The girls have captured your questions, so I guess so once they get collated, there'll be a response.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next guest in the public forum is John.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, John. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. This is the first time that I've been to your meeting. There are a couple of issues I'd like to discuss. The first issue is dump fees. Why is the council collecting dump fees from charity shops to line their own coffers? It's as simple as that. That is the question.
Right, we don't run a public forum, John, for a question and session, so yeah, we'll come back to you with it. The girls will capture that.
Is it that simple? Okay, so a lot of people donate. Let's say, are there people here that have donated to charity shops? Is there anybody here that would like to say, put their hand up maybe, and say, well, yes, we have. Is there anybody here that donates to charity shops in the Clutha district? 1, 2, 3, 4, right. So you all know. Okay. Now, how do you feel about your donations that you have given to the charity shops to raise money for their charity going on dump fees? Because that's where the money is going. The money is going back to the council for dump fees. The council is collecting the money. They are taking the money away from the community. Now, why would you do this?
Because the community have to pay for the rubbish that goes in the ground, John.
Exactly.
So, can you please go stick to the relevant question? So
the
we've got that,
question
we'll come
is-
back to you on that one.
No, listen,
So you
please.
have, no,
Listen,
sorry.
please. No.
We've got limited time.
Yes, well, stop interrupting me. No, look, we've
John,
emailed.
Can you stick
We
to
have
the point?
had emails.
Yes, can you
You
stick
have
to the point, please,
emailed
John?
me. You have
John,
emailed
can you
me.
stick to the point, please?
I am sticking to the point.
Yes, right.
How
your
am
next
I
question,
drifting
you
off
had
the point?
You had 2 questions. The second one.
We haven't got to the second one yet.
Yeah, that's why I'm encouraging you to get to it, because you asked us the
Oh,
question on the
well,
first one.
what's the rush?
Because we have got a
I've
very
been
big
given-
schedule to get through
I've
today,
been
John.
given 4 minutes on
5.
each subject.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
You just about used the first
the
4
question.
up.
Yeah, well, you know,
Stick to the
that's
point,
the
please.
sort of thing that I would expect.
Stick to the point, please.
I am sticking to the point. I have spoken with you. We have email correspondence
Stick
between.
to the point today.
It is the point. This is what I'm getting to. So, the people are donating money
Yes,
to the charity
you've
shop.
told us that.
Do you understand
Yes, we
that?
understand that. We agree.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the money, right, that's being raised through people donating their
Goes
goods.
back to the charity, yes.
No.
It does.
It's going to the council.
No, it's
Because
not.
the council are charging people, they're charging the charity shop. Now, for instance, I am not speaking on behalf of any charities here. Let's get that straight, okay? Yeah, you can smile about it, my friend, but you already know,
I
okay?
do.
Now, well,
I
you
do
think
know.
you do.
I do know.
Okay, now this is the
I
problem.
know firsthand.
What do you know?
I know quite a bit about the charities. How they
Tell me.
operate. No, I won't.
Charities
Stick to your
seem-
question. So, yeah, your point is, what's your point?
The point is that Clutha District Council, right, people are donating goods.
Yeah.
Stop interrupting. People are donating their items to the charity shops, okay? Now, the story is that the people that are donating their goods, they believe that the money that is raised from their donations is going to the charity, okay? But unfortunately, that is not correct. The money is going to the council. Now, this doesn't seem fair to me, where people, out of their generosity, are giving to the community, and yet the council is taking it away. Now, I cannot understand how you can sit here and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, or hurry up, you know, we've got other people to talk, you know, or whatever. How can you say that? How can you take money?
Yes, I think we've got your point, John. So
Oh,
carry
that's
on.
good. You've got
Yeah.
my point.
Righto.
Okay. So
Item
that's
number
great. I'm really pleased about that. I'm pleased that you've got the point.
Yeah, everyone's
Right.
very well aware of it. Yes, carry on.
Oh, you are. You see, this is what I'm getting to. You say that you're well aware of it. However, you don't want to do anything about it.
What would,
Aha,
what
you
would
know,
you like us to do?
I have heard the last. Well, I would like you, okay, not to charge charity shops any fee at all in the situation that we have today. Now, there are a lot of people struggling around the area, okay, financially. Okay, there's the petrol crisis as well. We know all about that. But I'm talking about before this, okay? Now, the money is being raised to help the community, not to fill up the council coffers. So, My suggestion to the council is that there is no dump fees for charity shops, and the council do not go so low to take the money from the community. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. That's all I've got to say on that matter.
Thank you.
Right, is there any questions?
Any questions for John?
Not so much of a question as a statement, I would have thought. The problem with dump fees, etc., is some of these donations aren't up to the spec of moving on and paying. You know, or moving on to the public buying, etc. So that's where their money comes from. So it's not that the council's taking money for nothing. Some of these donations are going straight to the tip.
That's exactly right. But
So why should they not, like everybody else, have to pay to get that tip there?
Because
It's not our fault
what's
that those
actually
donations
happening
aren't
is
up to
because
spec.
of the current crisis that we have in Clutha to do with people fly tipping and throwing their rubbish all over the community, this is the problem that we're having. Okay, so people are dumping their rubbish instead of going to the rubbish tip because the fees are too high. They're dumping their stuff at the charity shops right now. The charity shops now, as I said, I'm not talking in response or I'm not on behalf talking, you know, for the charity shop. Okay, now I had phone calls last night about people threatening me about coming up here and speaking today. Okay, so I'm here anyway because we were, you know, I've been invited. You know, the mayor invited me to come to the meeting. I'm not up here because I want to be here. I want another solution, but there has been no progress. And Mayor Jock has said, well, I need to come to this meeting to discuss it, and so other councillors know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's why I'm here today. I'm not here to point the finger at anybody and say, hey, you're at fault. Okay, what's happening with the charity shops, and it's quite well known, and people are dumping their rubbish there. They're dumping unsaleable goods. So those unsaleable goods have to be taken to the rubbish tip because they're unsaleable, of course, right? So what's happening is the charity shops are having to pay the dump fees, right? Now, the dump fees that they are paying, right, come out of charity that has been given by the community. Now, it's as simple as that. Now, I can't understand why the charity shops are having to fork out this money to give to the councils, even though that the rubbish tip has to run somehow, right? So I have offered other solutions as well, maybe. Maybe there could be a cap on it, you know, a certain amount of money. But, you know, I've heard of the charity shop spending $200 every couple of weeks, you know.
The only problem I see, if you let that go, then you're enticing people.
No. Because I have already spoken with Mayor Jock about it. Now, I said we need to, you know, really keep it, you know, just keep it hush-hush, right? And then it'll only be between the councillors, I mean, the Clutha Council, CD's Clutha District Council, and the charity shops, right? Is so nobody really knows. So, because what we're trying to do is, with this rubbish thing that everybody's going around dumping their rubbish all over the place, down in the bush, down at the beach, down everywhere, right? They're making this place a pigsty. Now, I'm really sick of it. Now, I really think that you guys, as a collective council, you know, it's all about education. You need to educate. Now, I don't know who I'm educating today, but I'm of the opinion, you know, that there are solutions to these problems. And the solutions are very simple. I've explained this to Mayor Jock already in emails, and of course other people. Jules Witt. I've had dealings with Jules Witt for a couple of years now. Now, I've been trying to sort out this problem for coming up 2 years now. Okay, now I'm going over time, but so I'll leave it at that to do with this situation. And I really encourage that the Clutha District Council get behind this, because you know, what's happening is by taking money out of the community, you're depressing it. You are depressing the people that are donating money to the charity. You might have enough money.
Thank you for that, John.
Okay. Right. Now.
I've got another item. We're not done.
Oh, yes. That was the first.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to cut this one a wee bit shorter, mate.
Okay, we're talking Wongaloa Domain. Does everybody know about Wongaloa Domain? People are dumping all their trash over the bank onto the beach. Have anybody heard of that? Apart from Mayor Jock and Jules Wood. Anybody else know that this is happening? No. Okay, so this is what's happening. I have been talking with Princes District Council about cleaning up this mess. Now that place, Wongaloa Domain, is covered by the 1977 Reserves Act. Do you know what that is? Anybody here know what the 1977 Reserves Act Clause 17 is? Does anybody know what that is? Nobody. Do you? Okay.
I'll just reiterate, John, it's not about the debate.
The thing is,
just extend your point, please.
The thing is that the Wongaloa Domain is covered by the 1977 Reserves Act. It's as simple as that, right? So the council need to abide by the Reserves Act, and they need to get out there and clean all this rubbish up and stop people driving around like lunatics around the place, doing burnouts, spinning around, burning out cars, chucking them over the bank onto the beach, and then everybody else is coming along, throwing their rubbish down the beach. And of course, the council don't know about it. Of course, they don't know about it. I've already spoken with them for the last year about it. Why don't something get done? Okay. Now, with the Reserves Act, the Wongaloa Domain is run by the Clutha District Council, right? They are the prime people that manage this area, not the golf course, right? Now that's a lovely, beautiful area out there. Have any of you been out there?
I'll give you one more minute, please.
Okay, then. So one more minute. Okay. So this rubbish that's over the bank, this pollution that people are polluting on this reserve needs to be cleaned up. I'm not sure how much it's going to cost because that's not my area. It's going to cost a lot of money. However, I have spoken with the Wairarapa District Council. You know where the Wairarapa is? It's up in the North Island, okay? Now, they had a similar problem there, okay? However, they blocked all this area off that was being affected. They cleaned up all the area. They notified everybody through the newspapers and social media. They notified everybody about what they were doing and the reasons. Now the bollards and everything, it's not to stop people going in there, it's to stop vehicle access, because this is how the rubbish is being transported and dumped over the bank. But it's a reserve, okay? I must say that once again. This area that we're talking about today is covered by the 1977 Reserves Act. Now, if the council don't want to play ball with this one, they may have to go to the Environmental Court.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
We've got to wrap it up there.
Thanks for listening, guys. I really hope to get positive feedback or positive outcomes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, now we're going to have to go on live online here.
We need to let some people in the lobby.
Into the lobby before we.
So we do have Bruce Gemmell and Wynne, who's the establishment board chair, and Wynne Williams, if there's any questions about the technical papers. So yeah, we thought they'll be online very soon.
Did you capture all that, Julie?
Of course I did.
Lovely. Well, you've got the live stream to go.
We have.
To refresh.
You let them all on.
Here we go, we're online.
Bruce is 20.
Bruce is in, and Nicola. Kia ora, Bruce, welcome. And Nicola, welcome.
Thank you.
Right, we're just going to move on to item number 1 on the agenda. It was prepared by Steve, but I dare say Jules will talk to it. Just of note, on the front first page there, page 5, Steve talks about the report and catch documentation being presented to Central Otago and include I just made a wee note there, all 3 councils. It means, as we typo there, it's Gore as the other council. So Jules.
Thank you, Your Worship. So obviously we're the last cab off the rank in terms of consideration of what the Waitaki District Council joining into Southern Waters done well. And also there's a number of additional documents that's also there for approval. So that's why we do have Bruce and Wynne Williams available to provide advice. So happy to take the reporter's read and answer any questions with the support we have online through you, Your Worship.
Right, does anyone, well, as you're all aware, Roger and Simon have been quite involved in this portfolio, along with myself. So have you got any questions between Roger, Simon and Jules regarding the report? Or any questions for Bruce? Or Nicole?
Or Linda.
Or Linda, down the back there. Welcome, Linda.
Or whether Bruce wants to make any comment. We are happy to take the recommendations as one, or whether you want to do them in blocks, up to the council.
Regarding that, I think if we keep 2.11 separate, because we actually have to nominate a councillor if the recommendations are received to join myself. Simon.
Yeah. You're available for comment now.
Yes, yep.
Yep. No, yeah, Roger and I and Jock have been involved with the shareholders agreement and reviewing the constitution. Yeah, waited, to be honest, I expected we should have had it about July last year. But, we finally got going this year and it's come together pretty good. Yeah, had another good read of it again the other day. It's probably personally, there's probably a few wee things I would disagree with, but I'm only one. I've had a few arguments in some of those meetings, but I'm only one person out of about 15, so I'm prepared to let them ride. I think it's a pretty good documents, and yeah, I'm going to be pretty comfortable to vote for it.
Roger, would you like to?
Yeah, I'll just reinforce what Simon's saying. We've had a good read of it over a number of times, so it's not a new thing for us anyway, and I think it's the way to go for us, and I'm quite comfortable voting in support of it all. So I think it should be of real benefit to our ratepayers. So,
and I'll just add to the conversation as being part of it. Roger and Simon have been very good support, and if anything, I believe a few of the other councillors from the other councils have actually taken a lot away from what Simon's and Roger's conversations have been. Some of our meetings, they've actually, they've been very helpful, and we're sort of. It's not a lolly scramble. We're not doing this for leverage for ourselves as an individual council. We've discussed this in great length, and it's about everyone being a collective. So I don't have any issues at all myself. In that respect, so does anyone else? Councillor Catherwood.
Oh, I'll just make a comment. I'm happy to receive the recommendation one, receiving the report, but as far as voting on 2 right through to 2.12, I'll be abstaining because I still hold myself where I was voted against the formation of the CCO from the get-go, and that's where I stand. So I'll be abstaining from the vote of 2 through to 2.12.
Through to 2.12. But then you're quite happy to vote after that.
No, I'm happy to see the report.
Right.
2.1, just from 2 and 3.
Any further comment? Councillor Kennedy.
Through you, Chair, just thank you a lot for Simon and Roger for the work you've done, because I mean, I know as a council with a lot of rural schemes, it's a big thing for our guys out there. And I'm sure that you are quite happy to lead us on the right path, that they are well covered and that there's no major loopholes going forward. Appreciate your work done.
Any further discussion? Would it be appropriate, perhaps, then, fellow councillors, that 2.11, if we vote, if we had someone nominated to, well, we better receive the report first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I might move a motion.
Yeah, and then if you'd like, someone would like to move a motion, and then we're just about to take the lot all as one.
So Jane moved it, so I'm happy to see.
Happy to move recommendation 1.
Yep. Seconded by Councillor Kennedy. Councillor McAtamney.
Okay, I would like to move recommendation 2 from 2.1 all the way through to 2.14, with specifically recommendation 2.11 that we appoint 2 representatives as the council's members on the stakeholders representative group, that being the Mayor and Councillor Roger Cotton.
I will second that. Any further discussion? We'll put it to the vote. Do you want to read it? No, are we clear?
Lots of them. There's lots of them.
No, not the lot.
Just that one. That one.
Councillor Cotton.
Okay. Appoints 2 representatives as the council's members on the stakeholders representative group, being the Mayor and Councillor Roger Cotton, as notified by or on behalf of the council to Southern Waters Limited in accordance with the shareholders agreement from time to time.
And everyone's clear that Councillor McAtamney is prepared to move from 2.
Yeah, oh, sorry, Councillor McAtamney moved from 2.2 to 2.14 and Mayor Martin seconded.
No, from 2.
2.1.
2.1 to 2.14.
Oh, sorry, 2.1 to 2.14, yes.
2.1 is very important.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. I did get
So no further discussion before we take it to a vote. And we're well aware that Councillor Catherwood's abstaining. So all those in favour, please raise your hands.
No, that's all right. I'm just making sure. Yep.
All those against? So you're abstaining, Councillor Frost?
And just those abstaining, put your hand up.
Yeah, those abstaining, please put your hands up. There we go. It's all there, please. The motion is carried. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Bruce? We've got him on the line. Bruce is our interim chair. Any questions for Bruce? Or Bruce, can you tell us how you're finding it? What's the response out there?
Well, we have had a bit of a chat with Gabriel, very outstanding George, and we were discussing our position in relation to the establishment of Livestream and how the company would be engaging with the field. And many of you will be aware that Dave has been instrumental in running the group's operating who's sovereignty claim, water claim against the Crown. And she was very complimentary to the full council in relation to the expectation of how their company will engage with unavailable over time. And we're, I would say, delighted that somebody is sort of getting feedback here that hasn't come holding the conversation.
Yeah, we're struggling to hear you, mate. You got two screens open too on the.
We could kick one
Oh,
out.
that was an outstanding effort of myself. I think I got a brand new laptop, and it's.
You got two backgrounds, mate. You're in two different places at once.
Yeah, well, I'm larger than life, job. Anyway,
Top
let's
one.
see if I can
Top one.
someone can zoom on. That'll be fabulous. That's much better. And Gabriel and Sam was also on the call, and they were just delighted with the progress we've made and the level of respect that we were showing Manawhena, but they recognised that Manawhena's presence could not dominate the residual or the other stakeholder groups. So very complimentary and was hopeful that our model may serve other councils and other CCOs in their establishment process. That was an outcome which was well considered, and we were quite delighted with. John, that helps.
Lovely. Any questions for Nicole?
No.
Oh, well, you're getting off pretty free, team.
Yeah. Congratulations, team.
Done.
Okay then, thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
See ya.
Good, ta-da. Right, page 144. Welcome, Del.
Thank you. Through your worship, just the report as read. Is there any questions? At the level split.
Questions? Councillor Kennedy.
Through you, Chair. Darren, obviously there's a pool there already. Who runs this pool and is it open to everybody or?
The hall committee look after the pool, clean it and keep it going, and their kids and people in the district use it. Yeah.
So, Carolyn, on that note, a lot of discussion always on pools. Will we be expected to contribute to helping fund that old pool?
Well, it depends what, at the moment, we don't do a lot. We do provide some chemicals for it. That's it, from my understanding, that's about all we do. They clean it and keep the upkeep of it. So, yeah.
What about the power cost?
Yeah.
Once the hall's disconnected?
Yeah.
Well, it's been changed.
The hall's already disconnected, so the power that's there now is just the
The pool. So there will be an ongoing cost for that.
Yep.
And whether it's worth it, given it's right between Milton and Abruptly, will be the other question.
I suppose the other question is, we're building a new pool in Milton, aren't we? We're going to be paying to have that, it's going to be heated, like, why would we contribute to a pool 10 minutes away? When we're building a brand new one in town, which, if they want a pool, they're paying for it, they need to use it.
So
Councillor Kitham.
there's 161 of private residence.
Yep.
And was that former part of the school?
used to be, yeah.
161.
Yeah.
So why have we not looked at the option of 161 instead of like relinquishing reserve? Is that discussion we had with that community that utilised that area to get rid of all costs and ongoing costs?
Yeah.
So through you, Your Worship, so we met with the committee that runs the hall.
Yep.
And that includes the people who live or own at 161.
Yep.
And so the direction that's in the report is from them, from that group, which is, so that's what their request to council, I guess through us, was for those things to happen, which is to demolish the hall because it's used by date, but to retain the reserve, which is a gazetted reserve, so that's quite difficult to put that up for sale. You can do it, but it's tricky. And so to keep the reserve and to use it for recreational purposes for the community. So it's quite a nice spot there, whether it's a pool or not. It's got, got a nice outlook, the green area. So they're looking. I guess the first step for them is to do those things, and then they would be coming back or formulating more plans, I guess, about how they develop it, whether it's picnic tables or whatever, just to make it into a nicer spot. So they can continue to use it. They had a few ideas, but this is the first step.
So it is well utilised as far as
Quite the local community.
the tennis court, they're into it.
It is used, especially in the summer months. Yeah. And I guess there's potential there for it to be used more. They've talked about setting it up as a campsite, so self-contained vehicles can stay the night there, which again would probably go down quite well. Nice spot.
Yeah, Your Worship. You're also saying in there on number 3 on 1.2, it's develop a toilet facility.
That will be part of the worship. That will be part of the next step, I guess. They're not asking for that now. Obviously, the toilets I don't think are usable really.
No.
In the hall, so there is no toilet, but that might be something that they.
But if they decide to keep it, they may as well leave the septic tank or whatever there is there.
There might be some minimal cost with that.
We sort of know what the cost of toilets are these days. Councillor McCrosty.
At present time though, the locals are actually using what was the church hall. So you'd probably actually get away with using toilets there if they went forward for a start.
That's gone on to the open market.
Church hall,
The
yes.
church, the church and the church hall, that whole
Right.
part, yeah.
Is there no toilet?
Just inside the hall.
That's right.
Councillor Con.
Through you, Your Worship. Just a question around the funds. So obviously I see there's 26,000 or something left. So, and I guess if council commissions the thing to be knocked down, that will pay for that. Is there an option for a community group like that committee to get it demolished themselves and save themselves a bit of money, or get something, and then would that money be able to be used on the pool or on that reserve ground or not?
Your Worship, that is sort of alluded to in the report. I didn't use those exact words, but that might be an option that obviously we would investigate.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Darwin, just a question. So who's maintaining the space, green space at the moment? They're doing it themselves. So there's no ongoing expectation that the council will be going ahead to mow it? Right. And we can't gift it, can we? That's probably not the word, council. Reserve, yeah.
1977 reserves there.
so the consultation process would be with that particular community, or is it rates and back across the district? What's the story there? Because that's like the recommendation too. We're sort of agreeing, if we agree to that, to gather public feedback, is it? I mean, you've got their feedback already, so are we now then going to the wider community with the rates and back?
Yeah, the committee, there was only 8 more.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not a lot.
Again, they again noted that, didn't they? That other people were there and that they would like to go a bit broader. So I think given what's proposed, which is removing that wall, I think it's probably wise to consult reasonably widely on that.
I mean, it's not going to be district-wide consultation.
No.
It's about the people in that community.
Community of interest, wasn't it?
Yeah, like
I think
the
it's-
genesis and the leader or something.
We're just going to, around the table, we're going to be aware we need to remove another community's hall. just, it's a stack load to the ratepayer. So, the toilet's going to be so much amount, and
Yeah, someone setting it on
phenomenal
fire.
amount.
Someone setting it on fire through the process cost a lot of that.
Yeah, correct. So,
No, I mean, this isn't determining the funding or anything like that. It's just the process about demolishing it.
The next
The
step.
funding and everything would need to come back and be approved by council. So that's still another step.
Just the consultation process.
So, through the chair, just you've sort of quoted there 20,000 to demolish that, but there could be options. Has it been looked at? There's no asbestos and any other hidden stuff in it
It's still
that
to
blows
be
the price out?
It's still to be investigated.
Yeah, so it could.
Could do, but I suppose through you, Your Worship, the issue is if the hall's nearing its end of its life, at some stage something's got to be done with it.
Done with it.
and WSP should have done that in 2020, surely. Asbestos report.
Not sure.
Anyway, okay.
Any further discussion, councillor
Through the
Kennedy?
mayor, so will the discussion
Councillor
document,
Kennedy.
the paper we're looking for feedback on, will it state some of these things, that it could have asbestos, the cost is going to be high to remove it? What are the ongoing costs yearly to ratepayers? Because if people, people want to know what is the cost of retaining the reserve, putting in toilets. If you want them to make a decision on whether they want the council to keep funding this stuff.
Well, again, through you, Your Worship, the consultation really is about, I guess, would be about the proposal to demolish the hall. As Jill said, it's, as and when they come back and say, well, please can you now do whatever, then that's the next stage, I suppose. Really, it's about putting through a public consultation process whether, thinking on whether we should demolish the hall, and which would enable that reserve to be further developed in the future. But plans to be confirmed.
There's also no guarantee that council's funding any of those future improvement plans. That could be the local community. So that doesn't even be decided now. Does the hall disappear or not?
Councillor McTimmon.
Well, if I can, I'm happy to move the just recommendation 1 and also recommendation 2, because it's essentially in a consultation process, not a final decision.
Yep, we're still in discussion at the moment. Councillor Kennedy's been trying to get her hand up, but Councillor Frost,
That's
Councillor
all right.
McTimmon, now Councillor Kennedy.
It's all good. Beat me to the post, so that's fine.
Yeah. Just on the discussion there, but it does say in the report 1.2, 1, retain the reserve and pool for public use, 2, demolish the hall, 3, develop a toilet facility, and 4, upgrade the reserve. So that would be consultation. So yeah, not just demolishing the hall, that's everything. So I think if you proceed, you should stick to what's written in the paper.
Well, that's what they're hoping, but if they don't get past to demolish the hall, then nothing happens.
Well, they've got their second in the list.
That's for you, Your Worship. That's what they asked for.
Yeah.
As a big picture, because we had a pretty frank and thorough discussion with them. But I think the consultation would be really just to demolish the hall, yes or no, noting that the ultimate goal is to achieve what they're after.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's the final, but we can't put a number on it in terms of what it might cost because we don't have a plan for it.
Oh, I'm talking about what they've got listed there on their wish list here. This is their laundry list. So demolition of the hall first, and then the rest of the laundry list. So that's what you'd go and consult.
Yep, that's right, but we can't put cost on
Yeah, I realise that. Yeah. So any further discussion? Councillor McAtamney, you were going to make a motion.
Oh, okay. I'll come back. I will remove. I'll move again. Recommendation 1. Council receives the whole report, Lovell's Flat whole report, and recommendation 2 that we undertake the consultation process. That's the rest of the motion is read.
Would someone like to second that? Councillor Harrison. Any further discussion? We'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Unanimous. Well, was it? Did you have your hand up, councillor?
Yeah, he said aye.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Darwin, Mike. Now we are on to page 154. Julie.
Yep, just confirmation of the minutes. I had made myself a note in the minutes, which I didn't get, I forgot to take it out before this was published. I have taken it out, so the meeting was adjourned, so I have corrected that in the copy. So I'll take them to confirm.
What are we confirming?
Minutes. It is true and correct.
Oh, right, unconfirmed minutes. Yes. Councillor Harrison?
I'll move there, I second that.
But there's no further discussion on those minutes first before we take Councillor Harrison's recommendation. Everyone's happy with those minutes? Seconded by Councillor Kennedy. All those in favour? Aye. Carried. Right. Page 172, the mayoral report. There's one thing there on the 23rd of March I slipped up. Oh, sorry. Yep, sorry, 167. I didn't make the opening to the new ORC on the Friday. And the Balmoral meeting was away.
It's been postponed.
It'd be postponed anyway. So yeah, just another busy day or two. Any questions? No questions. I'll accept.
Are we going around the table?
I just, shame it wasn't next week because I reckon this Thursday night Lawrence is going to be Valley at Valley. Right, we'll get round the table.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah, the cow just jumped over the room. Councillor Frost.
Oh, look, I don't think I've done much lately except for sorted out where the cabins were in Taylor Park yesterday, so it's all been worked up and regrassed and levelled up. And hopefully we're going to get some warm weather so it grows. Looks a little better than it did. It had about, I think we dumped about 65 tonne topsoil in there yesterday. Levelled all up, so hopefully that'll keep fins happy.
Councillor Cotton.
From which date is this? Just the last week or is it the last month?
From your last meeting.
Last meeting?
Last council meeting, 5th of March, so 6th of March.
All right. 6th of March, we had, from the last meeting on the 5th, 6th of March, we had a Southern Waters meeting. Then we did the tour, and then on the 12th, 13th, we had a portfolio meeting in Lawrence. On the 18th, we had a community board workshop. 19th, we had our R&A meeting in the Taumata ROI and transportation presentation. 23rd, I attended the Youth Council workshop and the inaugural meeting, which was in education. Quite enjoyed that. Then last week, the extraordinary meeting, and then on Saturday night, along with His Worship, I attended the Waipori Fire Brigade Jubilee and Double Gold Star celebrations, which was a great evening. And today we're here. It's me.
Yep. Quick look at my phone. So, the district tour. Portfolio meeting. The other council meetings. The Clotha Valley 50th Fire Brigade. I'm pretty sure Roger didn't go to the Waipori 50th Fire Brigade anniversary.
I went to the
And I can't. My eyes aren't good enough to see. Jock will either be right or wrong about the rugby tomorrow night.
We have a vote on that.
Councillor Kennedy.
So, yeah, all the normal meetings that most of us have been to. I did attend a Te Raupa Taio meeting, which was a first for me. So basically it is meeting with iwi, and you've got all your other mayors and CEOs around, so it was quite nice to see some of those faces and dynamics and thing. So basically they meet what, 4 times a year. They're meeting in different places. There is one stage where they do meet in Balclutha, which is the last one of the year, and it's basically going over everything that we go over as a council, just with iwi and partnership. Okay, so that's what that one's about. Had a good working bee for the Calso Dairy Factory to bring that up to speak, because it actually comes under the District Council. So I found out. So anyway, it's been all tidied up, and a new board going to be put there and sort out about the lawn mowing. That's not being done by a subcontractor. But yeah. And apart from meeting with a couple of ratepayers to do with building consents. And I think they've realised when they deal with Michelle, if you do it the right way, it works fine. If you don't, well, it takes time. No shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. It's me.
Councillor.
Yeah, just the usual things that we've been up to. I've been attending the Kaitangata Promotions Group. I did actually go to a separate thing, which was a Zoom meeting for the Driving Change Network, which was really useful in sorting out what is happening in our communities with our with the new driving licence rules, which is separate to council but all to do with our district. Enjoyed the tour that we went on, and attended the youth council the district youth council meeting, and then a local government New Zealand women Zoom meeting. And the youth council workshop we had on Monday night, which was really good, about the projects that are coming up for our youth council. And tonight I've got the Tangata Promotions again. I'm done.
Councillor Kevin.
Since last roundup, council workshop and risk insurance. Just 3 local community group meetings throughout the ward. That's it for me.
Councillor Smith.
Met with Steve and Jock with the Clutha Foundation, Alison and Hamish, just regarding, it was quite interesting a wee bit how they can help in a civil defence emergency with some funding and help the rural fund and all that, so I think it was quite beneficial. And Clutha Foundation meeting, youth council meeting and workshop, risk assurance workshop, rec centre committee, extraordinary meeting. Just a couple of things on the youth council. They've decided they're going to run the Fast Fives over 7 weeks this year down at the rec centre for people to have a go at sports, injury and that. So that's all been something they're going to go through with their youth year. And we've also got the plug for the Clutha Foundation. We've got our AGM on the 14th of this month down at the hub there, and at AGM plus some guest speakers and some students that had some money out of it. And Steve Davies is the guest speaker. A radio commentator from way back, so anybody's welcome to come if want to. So. Cool. I'll give it 7, I think.
No, 5:30.
5:30. Oh, there you go. Yeah, and then there's a meeting afterwards, but you're all welcome for a drinks and nibbles for a start.
Councillor.
So, risk insurance, normal council meetings and workshops. We'll hold a local board. And because you were unavailable, I've got to go and say a few words and open the new Waiala cricket ground, which was fantastic. Yep. Beers and cricket.
Community of interest. I thought it'd be very appropriate. I was previously engaged in another engagement. Well done. Right. Do we need someone to move those? It's a report. The report.
So moved.
Seconded. Councillor McCrost. And I dare say Steve's reports for information only.
Take it as read.
Take it as read.
Answer any questions, possibly.
I see there's a few external appointments. Any further questions? Nothing? We'll take that as read then, won't we?
Happy to move.
Mover and a seconder. Councillor Harrison and Councillor McCrosty. What time do you just want to break? 3 o'clock. Get going on your report.
Yep. Be good.
Be good. We'll get going on Jules's report.
So as this is the first internal services update, Natasha's here. I'd like to introduce Natasha Holland, our new comms manager. So you'll see be dealing with Natasha when you've got any comms issues to deal with. So welcome aboard, and happy to take the information report of all the activities of the internal service department as read and answer any questions through you, Your Worship.
Any questions?
I would like to note the comms team has been super busy, especially with all the annual plan consultation documents. So there's been a power of work there, which you guys have seen firsthand, with all the hard copy stuff as well as the electronic stuff. So they've done a great job. And it doesn't tend to slow down with Official Information Act requests. They keep on rolling through.
I was looking at that there, like, why would someone want to know about the Fonterra Stirling resource consents, 15 Mount Wallace Road, Stirling?
You never know why they want to know it, but sometimes it could be like they're actually asking about their own consents. So they could just be checking they've got all of them. Yeah. They haven't missed any. So that is, we ask occasionally the same thing with other organisations, but not usually as a employment request.
Number 6, our IT service desk system is currently reporting that we have 115 active tickets and approximately 61 associated with Datascope. So what's the other ones? You talk about an active ticket.
Yep, so we like we do with our service request system, our IT team operates the same sort of thing. So if someone has an issue or they want a new bit of equipment or whatever, they raise a ticket, and then the IT team look at those tickets in a priority system and then close them out as they get resolved. So if I've got a problem with my computer not behaving like I want it to, I'll put a ticket through, and sometimes AJ will remote in and then he takes over my computer and fixes it and then closes off the ticket. So it can be any range of things. It can be an issue with email. It could be a search, if we're wanting to do a search on emails or something like that. All of those get logged as a ticket, so it's registered in the system. And that way they do regularly report on how often they've closed them out and all those sorts of things. So regularly in the high 90s in terms of percentages of resolution times and things like that.
And no one else has got any questions. I've got one more. On the 23rd of March, you attended a Civil Defence monthly meeting. Is that internal or is that a Otago wide?
No, it's internal. So we sort of have a monthly meeting to say, well, what are the issues ongoing? What's the training that's required? All those sorts of things. So yeah, we hold those every month, and they have a representative from each function who comes together.
Right.
So yeah, they're our regular catch-ups in terms of sort of things.
So it's internal. It's not actually including.
No, it's not. It includes Jason in terms of Otago CDM, but we also invite our external controllers, Stan Leishman and Evan Scott. They can't always make it because of work commitments, but we invite them as well, so they know what's going on.
Because how are we going there? Like I'm getting experienced a wee bit of anxiety from some members of the various communities about these resilience plans with civil defence that aren't happening.
Yeah, well, there's certainly. We discussed resilience planning in the last meeting we had as well. We also signed off the latest revised structure of civil defence as well. So, yeah, as far as I'm aware, there's already existing resilience plans that people might not know about. But yeah, we did discuss that in the last meeting about getting out there and reinvigorating those.
So we discussed it, so we didn't have an outcome of when it's going to happen. We can tell these communities.
Well, we need to know who the contacts are as well. But yeah, Jason's got a number of contacts to try and get those off. I mean, we've got a few communities already doing it themselves as well.
Yes, aware of that, but these are the ones that are waiting on Jason's lead to lead it, and they've been waiting quite a few months to get a wee bit.
If you pass on the details, we'll make sure he gets onto them. So, yeah.
Councillor Cobb.
Just on number 7, it's obviously pleasing to see that you're seeing enhanced performance in this portfolio. So, is there anything more on that? Just good feeling in the group, is there?
Oh, it's I suppose nothing other than we're doing our quarterly performance reporting, and you guys saw the overall org in the last meeting. So, yeah, just looking at refining those and making sure we're meeting our targets.
Can you just refresh your memories? How were you sitting in that overall table?
Oh, not too bad. We were
better than the CEs.
Well, everyone's better. But I suppose the thing to reinforce too is that some of those things, until you do things like an annual survey, that you're never they're not going to be there. So, like we didn't want to say it's on track and I'm getting to the survey at the end of the year. If you haven't done it, it's going to be zero.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Any further questions? Would someone like to move? Yep. Councillor Cotton, seconder. Councillor Kennedy. Those in favour? Aye. Right. We will move on to page 177. Infrastructure strategy and delivery update.
So you get a team approach to this one because Donna's away on leave.
She is mobbing us.
She's in Houston, I think.
Is she?
Mm-hmm. Looking at the photos on Facebook.
Yep.
Definitely, Your Worship. Probably I'll just start with the staff movements, which was not captured, but we'll update it on the next report. So as of 24th of March, we have an internal movement with Christina Higgins as procurement officer. She'll start on that role on the 4th of May. And then we have an external hire, which is Christo Vandermeer, team leader for facilities and waste asset management. The crew is here. If I may suggest, Your Worship, from page 178 to 183, that would be the operations, and Sean would be able to answer those questions. If we can start with those pages, and then we'll move next with Cosmos.
Well, thank
So,
you.
Your Worship, you want to go through page by page, or just read and answer the questions?
Will we take the report as read and then open up for questions by function? Do we need to move?
No, you just take it as read.
Take it as
Would you like to highlight anything from this report?
Yeah, so just through Your Worship, just firstly to introduce myself, Sean Braid, newly appointed Operations Manager, just in case no one's heard me yet. But yeah, this is just a really high level sort of overview of what we're up to in the operations space. It's very business as usual. The roading sector, we are doing a big ramp up at the moment just to exhaust the budget. And some, yeah, just a bit of an update across the board there. So yeah, happy to take any questions.
Can I?
Councillor Mick.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, through Your Worship. Sean, page 180, there's a picture there of some water tabling. There's a road there, Emerald Road, and it was an interesting one because I had a neighbour discuss it with me that lives on that road, and he was, it was obviously, he questioned the contractors why they were there. He was told that road had been scheduled for some time. This sort of thing often pops up. But that road, it leads onto a paper road and then into a farm which is, I went into trees 2 years ago. So there's sort of a bit of a, yeah. He was questioning and I said, okay, well, if I get the chance, I'll bring it up at council.
Yeah, I'm happy to
It is interesting how they're obviously scheduled. Sometimes I wonder whether something. Yeah.
Through you, Your Worship, I do believe there's a lifestyle block at the end of that road now.
But they went further beyond that, I think, yeah.
I'm unsure whether it's on that, but
Yeah.
It will, in 25 years' time, presumably will be used.
Yeah.
If we can keep water tables clear in the meantime, so will remain. We shouldn't need to do anything to that road for a long, long time. I personally haven't inspected it before it happened.
I'll watch over the next 25 years.
Just following on for that one there, Sean, I'd possibly want to know. I've got notes here. So we don't actually see much reporting on the frequency of the follow-ups of the workmanship of our contractors. That's of interest for me personally, is how frequent do we, as an organisation, follow up with the workmanship that is out there? Is it how frequent is it? Is there failures? What types of failures of workmanship? What's how often, regularity?
Yeah, so we do undertake quite a lot of inspections. To give you the accurate number of when I would have to come back. But I'm happy to look forward to putting that sort of statistics in the report.
Moving forward, would that be a fair? Would anyone else be interested in that sort of information?
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks.
Just moving on now with 181 with the waste space. Do you have any questions?
Green space. I see we've still got red danger tape up in the odd Peace Garden. When are they liable to be? Are they a permanent fixture now? Or?
Hopefully not. I will have to come back on the exact dates, but basically everything in the space has been treated on a priority safety first, just through budget constraints. But there's a massive list of work to be undertaken, which is done in their priority of safety.
Right. And on that green space page, I've also, I see rabbit control is ongoing. And then you've got their contract ongoing works on sort of tidy up plantation heights. We also have a quote for extra works here to tidy up the tracks paths from our contractor. Is this, it rings a bell, that plantation heights.
So, yeah, it's in Valclutha, and so we've had corrections out there doing some of the sort of maintaining that area, but there are things like willow trees, for example, that is outside their scope that need to be removed, and that would be included in that sort of price there.
Yeah, good. But what's our liability there? Was it part of a development thing? Or?
Yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So it's a council subdivision that we probably wouldn't normally have let another subdivider give it to us in that state. But we made the conscious decision of setting a level of maintenance, and the first period of that came actually out of the income from the subdivision, and then it was added to our green space contract at a certain level of maintenance. So this is suggesting there's a little bit more maintenance that needs to be done. So it's effectively part of the Balclutha Parks and Reserves area now. Right.
So that's 6,600 extra.
Still a top.
It will be.
Coming out of?
It'll be about Balclutha Parks and Reserves costs. If it's approved. Otherwise, we are having complaints, aren't we, through you, Worship James, from residents living there?
Yes, we've had multiple service requests regarding that. The best parts of the rooms amongst is getting up relatively high. South Roads have been working at it, but we are limited by our budget. We can spend on that without affecting the rest of the district or the rest of the township. There's quite a bit of work here. I think there's 2 hectares in that area all up, which was prior to the subdivision was cut over forests. So it's quite a leading problem.
And we had proposals from a landscape designer to sow a whole lot of fescue grass or something in it, a whole range of things, and the council considered those and decided on a certain approach.
The native plantings that are there, in some places they're established quite well, and they are growing, and the theory was that they would be established by now. They are probably 2 metres high and quite easy to maintain. but because the ground had been stumped prior to the subdivision, other areas of the native plants are struggling to establish. Some of them are only 500 metres high.
It's a very rocky.
Out here where the rocky and clay areas are, where the topsoil remains and where the stumps have been filled to, the bushes are quite well established in these.
The recycling of the batteries is obviously going quite well. I see a note there at the dump, the car and truck batteries. Who collects the money for that side of it? Because I know for a fact in 5 months we collected them for a fundraiser and we made $18,000 on the sale of car and truck batteries for doing nothing. Is the council getting their money or is it the people that run on the dump?
Waste minimisation officer.
Through your worship, most of that money is obviously recently with the most recent collection, we actually ended up getting the money back from Phoenix Metal who run the battery program due to the amount of car batteries that we actually collected. So it just depends on the collection rate in comparison to big batteries to small batteries.
Yeah, okay, because I know it was, like I say, it was 18,000 for 5 months just for a fundraiser, just people wanting to get rid of the batteries. So it could be good we're in for the council.
On page 183, we've got the costings there by district for the wind event. So we're still under the non-routine budget, is that right? 134,000?
I believe so, yes.
Through you, Your Worship, at the end of year wash up, when we've looked at the non-routine in this, we may well be coming back to council and asking you to make a funding decision on the wind event costs, because we do have our emergency fund for that. So I suppose it's just something to flag that if we can accommodate it within our budgets, we will do, but if we can't, we may need to look at a different funding option for that. Because there are, in Lawrence especially, there's some big costs to come in that we know about cleaning up trees.
Still ongoing. Please.
Sorry, can I just confirm through Your Worship, Sean, we still are spending other non-routine things on it too, so I'm assuming this doesn't include the other non-routine costs.
I would have to come back on that one.
James?
That graph, it includes all the
numbers don't make sense unless we spend nothing on non-routine.
Yeah, so the first column, the wind event, was the money that was spent on that event only. So it excludes any non-routine, other non-routine expenditure.
So this doesn't show us the current state of play.
No.
It just shows us how much of our non-routine was spent on wind event costs. So we may well be coming back saying we're over because of the wind event and asking council to consider funding it potentially from the emergency funds.
Yeah, so if we normally spend $100,000 in Balclutha, we're looking at $150,000. So we're looking at $50,000 overspend.
Because you've got, like, for example, Balclutha at 48%, so you've used 48% of your budget, or?
Just on the wind event.
On the wind event, yeah.
48% of our budget was just spent on clearing up after.
But there's still a whole other bunch of non-routine costs as well.
And this is at the end of February, so it doesn't include much.
And if we just recall, we're expecting some overall financials in about a month, so that's when we'll be able to give you that.
So Tapanui heading up?
We did not spend any money other than our normal routine maintenance in Tapanui. Yes, there was damage in Tapanui, but there was nothing that we actually had to go and spend day works money on. And, South Roads cleared it up under their normal activities.
Just a question there on 7.1, the road efficiency group excellent assessment.
That's how much.
That'll be the next group.
Next group.
Next group.
Next one.
Councillor Catherine.
Some of this damage seems to be this recurring damage, vandalism, and our ongoing issues with our public toilets. Like, at what point do we have to create a bulletproof solution? Like, we're just like, is this an endless budget? Is this just going to continue and continue? Because
No, but through you, Your Worship, I can tell you there's no such thing as a vandal-proof toilet. They will find a way to rip stuff off walls, to burn skylights, to do all sorts. So I'm sure James can talk to this. We've got all sorts of things. People are really ingenious at how they can damage things.
Genius.
So we installed CCTV in that Balclutha area, didn't we? We upgraded our CCTV.
I'm not sure if it's quite there in Balclutha, but it's certainly at the edges of Milton. But you've still got to actually figure out who's the person who's done the damage. So that's quite hard, unless someone rings up straight away and says, I've just gone into this toilet and it's damaged. We can go back and find it. It's really hard to figure out who's actually done it.
So, through you, Your Worship, the first question about bulletproof stuff, we did go through a process of trying to make toilet roll holders vandal-proof. Extreme amount of money to attach them to the walls. It got to the point that we actually they were removing them from the concrete walls, and we had to add extra plates to the wall because we run out of places in the walls to line and bolt the toilet rolls too, because where there is, yes, you go really strong to try and avoid vandalism, or you go cheap, so as you can replace them easily. South Roads are down to like half an hour to replace a toilet roll from the time we leave the yard until we get back to the yard. Unfortunately, our destination toilets, the toilet roll holders are quite expensive to replace, but our other toilets are relatively cheap toilet roll holders. Going back to the CCTV, I've been told that the latest Milton one, they had very good video footage of the culprits, one holding the door open so you could actually see them doing the damage inside the toilet. But they're all wearing hoodies, so they couldn't get any facial recognition, couldn't see who they were. And the lighting wasn't good enough for them to get car registration. So I know what sort of car they were driving, how many of them were, what they were wearing, but they have no way of finding out who they are.
So it'd be cheaper to lock and put a sandbox and a heap of dock leaves out at night.
That is an option.
Good.
It's a level of service decision, Councillor McCrosty.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Through you, Your Worship, James' question, is it localised mainly in one toilet block, all this vandalism, or is it widespread?
Through Your Worship, it's widespread. Each town has a run.
Yeah.
But recently, Melbourne, Dartford, Clinton, it can go with games of rugby or things like that.
Usually Lawrence versus Clutha Valley.
I don't drive that much.
More regional games at the stadium.
Oh, those are different.
Yeah, people coming from Gore and things like that. Invercargill.
But it is, Peppermill is pretty safe.
Tidy it up, Larry.
So what type of costs are we talking in the last financial year that we've spent on vandalism?
I would have to look that up. I would look that up for you. It's getting like the cost of toilet seats alone for the new destination toilets, $70-something each, I think, from memory.
No
That's quite
seat,
expensive.
helper.
Because the design of the toilet, there's only one sort of seat.
And those toilets are prison design toilets, aren't they, James?
Well, the bowls themselves are stainless steel, so that they're fine. It's just the plastic seat on top. And we have in the past just left them stainless steel, but we get complaints from the public.
Cold bums.
They're having the same issues that the new toilets at KP.
I haven't heard of any. Not that I know of.
Civilised.
It's not on me.
Civilised. Righto.
Be interesting to see what the figure is, James. How much we've spent on vandalism. Is it actually just to one particular group of the vendetta on council?
So if that's all the operational questions, we'll move on to the asset management. Your Worship.
Yes, asset management. I had one there, 7.1, road efficiency group excellent assessment. Tell us more.
That is.
Yeah. Kia ora. Good, good.
Questions?
Yes, the road efficiency group excellence assessment.
Yeah.
We're going pretty good, are we?
We're getting there. We were assessed as competent. We do have some areas where we need to improve on. It was an external moderation that was done with capital delivery, transportation operations, and asset management team. So we do have a plan of action or roadmap to improve on several areas like decision making and benefit delivery. So those are like our key areas where we need to improve on. It isn't going to happen overnight. It is going to be a few years until we meet our agreed target levels for those areas. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. It's quite a rigorous process.
Right.
Improvement doesn't happen overnight. There's various factors that you need to take into account for improvement in each area. May not just be related to any one given factor. So there may be certain areas, quick wins we can tackle immediately, but there are some things that will take a few years.
But well, we're going to celebrate our successes and own up to our failures. So even if they're small wins, it's still a win. Great. Well done.
To add, we were told that we are in the top 10 of councils that were assessed in terms of the strategy excellence assessment. So
that's what we like to hear. Now we're warming. That's great news.
Great. If there's any other questions.
Any other questions up to page 195?
195. Well, before you get to 195, I see the school speed limits, Cosmos. So this is all taking place. It's going to happen.
Yes. So we're going through the process of updating the system with NCTA, and then put out the actual physical signs afterwards.
Right. Sorry, I interrupted page 1.
So up to page 195, any items of any comments or questions around between 183 and 185? 195.
Worship. I'm not sure whether this question can be answered, but the two schools that were in the submission, but the speed limit changes are not being implemented. When can we expect the Ministry of Education to come out with a decision on their future operation?
Chair, I can answer that question. We do not have any timelines at this moment. We are awaiting the Ministry of Education for their outcome before we can make any adjustment, or if they have been approved, so we can implement them. But if the schools are going to be closed within the next couple of months, it's quite a bit of money just to install a few signs and remove them again.
Without a doubt. So there's been no indication when you might hear that decision?
No, initially they said they wanted to have us have an answer before the end of February. End of February has gone. We haven't had any word from it.
Okay, thank you.
Just want to ask on page 190, I think it was paper to Y, just that example of that table. So you've done the assessment and the request from the community's been 50, you come back with 80. The answer no. So does that still go to the consultation? Is that kind of where the end result will end up being? You're not going to get your 50, we're at 100, and we're going to get 80, or what are we saying?
Through you, Chair. I can answer that as well. So for this round of assessments, I was hoping to get a few more of a yes, and I went back to NTTA, and the answer was we need to look at the hierarchy of the road, the hierarchy classifications of the road, and that being done, I didn't want to come back to council and say this is what can be done. Can I get approval to look at this? So I'm really looking at the hierarchy and seeing if we get to change a few of these hierarchy classifications, how many will we get a yes to, and then come back and ask for a decision to change the hierarchy, and then we can go ahead. The reason for these no's is that we have to comply with the Land Transport Rule 24, setting of speed limits 2024, and specific roads have specific minimum speeds we can change it to. If we change the classification of those roads, then we can drop the speed limit to what is desired. That's why in the legally viable speed limit is the minimum speed that is currently on the hierarchy. So for Papua Y, it's a rural road, and you can only have a speed limit between 80 and 100. If we drop it to low, I don't want to say low volume road, but the other classification, the peri-urban road, then we can have it in the speed limit from 50 to 80.
Okay.
So that's part of the second round of assessment that I'm going to do, is I'm going to change these hierarchies and see if I can get the desired speed limit. And if that's a yes, then I'm going to come to council with a decision and say, can we change these classifications to get them approved?
And is that consultation to change the classification of the road, or is that a decision that we can make around this table?
We can make it around this table. What can be made in this table, and then once they've approved as yes, then we can go out to public consultation and say, would you like these changed?
Okay. So a rejig.
Yes.
Councillor Cotton.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to know a little bit about this process for a state highway through small town. It would go through the same process, but would council have any input into that other than supporting maybe a submission?
We would be consulted on as part of the consultation period.
Okay.
As council and general.
So how would that process work? So like, say for example, we'll talk about Lawrence. I guess it's easy to, someone wants to change, they'd go to the community board and talk about that, and then obviously that would come back to council. What would happen then?
This
or
something similar, but it is out of our hands. That
Yeah.
is just for NZTA to handle. So those submissions would go directly to NZTA.
Okay. Have you had any experience with a request like that before on a state highway?
I have not.
Thank you.
Councillor Kennedy.
Moving on to vehicles on beaches. Sorry. The speed limit review. Obviously, by looking at that, this is not going to be a quick, easy process either, is it? It's going to take quite a lot of time to go through everything.
Through the chair, for this submission, yes, it's going to take some time. The reason for it is, as mentioned at the beginning of this council meeting by members of the public, a beach is classified as a road. That is essentially what it is. However, it is just one section. There's no road ID connected to each section. So we need to classify which sections we need to look at. We need to classify which ones identify, because according to the legislation, we can't say all the beaches in the district. It has to be identified. That's a limitation from NZTA's land transport rule.
We were aware of that. You told us that about 3-4 weeks ago, didn't we? So where are we at now? Like, where are we today? Because as you've seen this morning, well, this early afternoon, we've got members of the public wanting to know where it's at, and your information compiled with the information that the questions that have been asked of us is very important for us to get back response and resolution for our members of the public. So, so where are we at now? Like,
We are currently identifying the beaches and limiting them into sections that we can
be
identified.
So that's a story we need
So
to
we
know.
may-
Our communication needs to know, translate back to those members of the public who are wanting to know where we're at with it. So that's key stuff. Whoever's delegated with that role, we need to be communicating with this department and feeding that info back. Councillor McTimmon.
Yep, through your worship. Okay, to stir the pot and being the outlaw on that, the outlier on that subject, vehicles on beaches. If it's, so okay, we've got to designate all these beaches as roads, etc. If we were, under our bylaw, if we were to declare a safe zone on a beach, did we have the right just to declare that road just shut down, that beach shut down as a road? Is it a far easier process to create a safe zone than to create a speed limit?
Through you, the chair, I'm not 100% sure. I will have to do feedback and go to councils, to neighbouring councils, to get information on that.
We did do the bylaws on this,
Yeah. I'm just not 100% sure of the process of the safe zones regarding.
It's a full bylaw review, so it's whatever the bylaw review process is. If Ye was here, he'd be able to provide an update.
Yeah, so chances are it could be similar.
I can't guarantee.
It'd need to consultation, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Consultation plays a big.
Consultation
Just like
is
this
exactly
process.
I'm not talking about the consultation, I'm just talking about the legal, how complicated would the legal requirement be?
It's a bylaw review. To add safe zones is exactly the same as if we're reviewing the bylaw. Yeah. It's whatever, it's that consultation process we have to go through.
But if it was approved, then we could just say, okay, the vehicle can't drive on the beach. Quite different to having to get.
That's the point of the safe zone schedule in the bylaw.
And we would have that authority, and that would be created.
That bylaw gives us that authority.
Now,
once you go through
the
consultation process, like a bylaw review, to add beaches to the safe zone schedule, then those apply. But you have to go through the full bylaw consultation process to add beaches.
and rinse and repeat. Same results.
Councillor Harris.
Hi, Pete, through you, Your Worship. So at the moment, we're doing the mapping, is that correct? Did I pick that up correctly? So then after that, we have to do the technical assessment. So kind of roughly what kind of time frame are we looking at before we can look to putting those beaches into speed reductions?
Through you, the chair. The timeline, I can ask Titus to comment on the timelines rather than myself.
Yes, so in a couple of council meetings back, we agreed that end of September is when we would come to council with the technical assessments completed to seek feedback and approval for consultation. So we are working towards that timeline. We've got Pierre working, defining the boundaries of each beach, and that will then go into our GIS system, and he will complete the technical assessments thereafter. But currently, we're working as per the date as agreed in the previous council meeting.
Yeah, we need you guys to communicate with the others, do the communicating to the members of the public.
Thank you.
Okay. Keep that one on your radar, can you, Rach? Follow that up. Thank you. Appreciate it. Any further questions there?
James has some information.
What's your previous question?
Toilet cost.
Oh, the toilet cost.
Cost of the toilet is around about $14,500 we spent in the last 12 months.
Oh, okay.
On vandalism on toilets.
12 months.
$1,000. $1,200 a month.
$1,200 a month. Very efficient response and resolution there, James.
It's going to be shocking more.
Yeah. The community housing condition assessment, playground assessment conditions, we went through a fair bit of that pretty deep this morning, didn't we, at the workshop? Anyone got any more questions on that? Fleet management?
Yes, Your Worship, have we got a figure on vehicles? How many that are, what, the number of vehicles?
The question, Cosmos, how many vehicles in the fleet management program? What's the value?
We do have figures that can share.
Just a rough idea of what that might realise in funds, getting rid of some of these vehicles.
There's 11 for disposal.
for
11.
for disposal that we are disposing of.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, that could be significant.
We're just conscious of whether this is exactly the right time to dispose of some
Yes,
vehicles. We
yes.
might sell PHEVs and those sorts of things, and maybe diesel utes, maybe not the rest of the fleet, but we'll make a call on that.
Yeah.
Might
Doesn't
be better
have
to
to-
wait a few months.
Yeah, won't be immediate.
You got any electric ones to sell?
No
What we got?
hybrids or anything in
We
there?
got a Prius is up for sale, isn't it?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay, well, we've got the PHEV, we've got a plug-in hybrid Outlander. It's up for sale. Linda's thrashed it. So.
Run careful, lady.
To give away.
Questions, councillors?
On to capital, are we? Well, Cosmos, take a seat, and Raymond can jump in for the hot seat.
Through your worship, probably for capital projects, as you can see, most of or all of it has green on it, no reds or ambers. So that's for the financial impact. And then as the team is busy with the implementation phase of all the projects, at the same time, they're planning for the design and for the next round of tender documents to come out to public for bidding. So,
We're just thinking about the timing on that too.
yeah.
Councillor Campbell.
Just on our reseals, there's quite a bit of resealing going around where I reside at the moment. Does our council road department do an assessment, like on the quality of the work? Is that us that do it, or is it a contracted engineer, our own engineer that does it? Ticks that work off? Do we tick the work off?
All right. Through your worship. In terms of the contract that we currently have with the current contractor on a resource contract, we have a clause in the contract that specifies the key performance indices. And now with our new senior project manager, Sonu, he's keeping our contractors honest and really challenging the reasons behind why you need to reseal it and whether it's performing. So it's part of the contract to answer your question.
So the quality of the job done, the reseal, who signs that off? Who's the person on our council that says, job well done, contract fulfilled?
Through your worship, in this contract, it's our external provider, professional services provider.
Which is?
Becca.
So Becca signed it off on our behalf?
Yes.
And then who do they answer to at our end?
It's through our PM, and then it's escalated through us, through the manager, which is in this me. And yep.
So just following on from Councillor Catherwood's question there, so it's again, how many of these that are getting signed off fail and how many have passed, just from a councillor's perspective, like interest rate, like what would there be 10 or 15 done in a 6-month period? How many of them have failed? How many have passed?
Through your worship, we can add that if that's an interest on the next report.
Yeah, because that tells us that actually it is being done.
Yeah.
And there's also the defects liability period, so it's not just when they finish the work, it's a matter of time afterwards to make sure it's still
performing. Yeah.
And if it's a fail through you, is that back at their cost to repair?
Sorry, what?
If it's a fail, for whatever reason, do they come back and do that for no charge?
Through your worship, yes, that's through the defects liability period.
So you take that back to the Becca and then Becca take that back to the contractor? Is that how that works?
Through your worship, take back which.
If there's a rework to be done, so I'll be straight up. I've seen work just done recently, like as in this week, that I know will fail because they got caught by weather.
So through your worship, Usually it's really very helpful once we receive a service request, because there's a lot of people who's looking at it and the public. Usually in a normal process, we'll take those service requests, check whether that's related to our project, check whether it's defects liability or it's a failure of design or whatever. And then we go through that process with the contractor.
The first step is service requests from the public.
Yes, that would be very helpful.
If I can just add to that, after every reseal season, we have a drive over after a couple months after all reseals are done. We have a drive over together with our professional service provider. So it's asset management, operations team, as well as the project manager. We have a drive over to every site that's been resealed, come up with a defects list and submit that to the contractor to rectify. Once that's rectified, then only does it get signed off. So it's not only the professional service provider that signs off, but it's also our internal asset management and project management teams that are involved in that process.
Brenda, I see contract 895 Tapanui pipeline renewal program. When's the 80-day schedule? When's it starting and when's it finishing? 203. Only reason I ask, I did a drop-in session in Tapanui on Monday, and it was pretty front of mind for a lot of the people was the water failures over there. And I was just wondering if this is attributing to the water loss in Tapanui. But it doesn't say when it's starting or when it's finishing, it just says an 80-day working day schedule.
Yeah, through your worship, this particular project, contract 894, this
895.
of 895.
Says it was completed in November 25.
It's already done, that one.
It was last year.
Lawrence was done.
Next page.
Up until 895, yep. 28 November.
I would hate to guess, but I think there's a few other reasons why there's a lot of water usage in Tapanui. Talks about it repeatedly.
Yeah.
Isn't?
Lots of really green gardens
They've got lovely gardens in Tapanui.
that are left on overnight or for hours that aren't in.
Moonshine.
They measured.
No.
Is that your science hustle?
You got a green garden, Michelle?
Not even on the water supply.
So yes,
Your Worship.
Councillor Cotton.
Thank you. Probably more a request than a question, but I think as part of the water portfolio team that these capital projects that are listed here in this department would be useful information for us when we have our get-together.
Portfolio meetings.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
meetings.
seeing too. Because
So,
you guys are delivering in the capital area, but we're meeting with Donna and Corey in their area, and your information is very important information. We sit around the table with them, so can we make that work? Can you guys talk with Donna and her team? So
Raymond, did you not send it out to everybody? The list?
Your worship, you mean the list of projects? Yeah. List of projects.
Did you send it out to all councillors?
Yeah, I use that common email.
Yeah. So you guys have, because I requested it through our workshop portfolio, and Raymond has sent it out to everybody, so you actually have a list.
no, you don't. And then when we sit around the table with Linda and Corey, this information is part of their
I'm just saying it has been sent to you.
Yeah, no, what I'm asking is that this department talks with the water department that we work with.
Yeah, it's more detailed than just a list of projects.
Yeah, that's more detailed than what you're thinking, yeah.
You're thinking we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I did get it.
Well,
That'd be sent out to everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, but yeah, no, we're looking for a bit more cohesion here.
You want more, right?
Yeah, because there is quite a number of capital stuff here that's related to the water department, and we're getting it in two different ways. Any more questions? Really encouraging Cyril the Green. It's got to get nugget up soon when we get to the water. There's a lot of reading. Councillor McCrosty, did you?
Yeah, if you go back to contract 915,
Page
That's
197.
197.
Pages on.
So it's the Chesel Highway slip. You've gone through it, Stantec have looked at it, now you've got another consultant coming in. Are they going to use what Stantec's done already, or are they going to start from scratch? You know, when you get to the green at the bottom, it's not going to be zero, is it?
Through your worship, yes, when we ask for the other consultants to price for that project, we've provided all the information that we originally got from the previous consultant.
So were they just short of people to finish that?
Through your worship, yes, they don't have that available resources.
Any further questions on any of these pages for Rima? I see the Milton concrete pipeline that's going down the street. It might just be slow going, isn't it?
Through your worship, that's been contract 908. Is that one?
Oh, I'm just commenting on the tickets and everything as well.
Sewer and stormwater renewal.
That's contract. Yeah, yep, the one in Milton. Yes.
It's very deep. So it's,
Yeah.
they've got to use protection and all sorts of things.
Yeah. Right now they have 2 crews.
Not sure. Wasn't.
Contractually, it's 60 days.
Just better get from weed.
Yeah, no, to the,
I'll put it out in the comms already.
to the end of the year.
Next time, check the comms. End of May, MJ's saying. Well, they've already been going too, but.
Any further questions?
Should get shallower at the other end, shouldn't it?
We might, if someone was prepared to move that and second that, and then we might break for a quick coffee. And then we'll get into the four waters. Moved by Councillor Frost, seconded by Councillor Kennedy. We'll have a short recess before we hit the red markers. You need some salt. Welcome to the, we're live now, welcome to the rostrum there, Linda.
It's much to turn on the mic.
Right, so page 224 of the agenda. In my report, I guess a couple of items of note, particularly around mower flat, so that's at the bottom of the page there. So the upgrade that we did at North Bruce has been repeated at mower flat, and early indications are that we've achieved compliance. From page 225, got a couple of tables of data there. So where you can't see red, that is the new world and the water that's being produced out of the plant. So we are have got testing underway. We obviously need, it's a large scheme and it's been on a boil water notice for 3 years. So we need to make sure the water's turned over and also work with Te Mara Arawai to make sure that they're comfortable that we can lift the boil notice, but we expect that to be imminent if the data is playing out within the distribution.
So do you have a time that you're going to say to that?
Well, generally with rural schemes, we would say sort of 10 days.
Yeah.
And given we've been producing compliant water since the 13th of March, actually,
Right.
there's already been sort of 2 weeks of turnover within the scheme.
Yeah.
And we've put a
As
note
I say, don't
out.
put it out on April the 1st, please.
No, we've missed it. It's April the 1st finishes at midday. But anyway, so we wouldn't do that anyway. And we're not quite at that point, but certainly it's all looking very promising. And hopefully by the end of April, we'll be out of that boil notice.
Yes.
And the aluminium advisory will hopefully lift at the same time.
Trying to align things so they're none together.
Otherwise, it's too confusing if we lift one without the other. So we want to make sure we've got full compliance before we do that. The other piece of work on page 226, so the Milton water treatment plant, so some membrane replacements that were approved in the annual plan budget. It's a bit of an emergency to be done this year. Unfortunately, one of the racks failed, so we're working with the supplier on that. We had to weld it straight away, but it's over $500,000 investment. We don't expect something to fail the first time it gets put in water. And so we're working on them about replacing that rack, given it's got to last quite a few years. Page 228, I guess a couple of photos there. We've talked about having to swab that line. That old plug came out, was flushed out, so that certainly would have been impeding the water flow. The mayor's got that device now. Not sure whether he has managed to find an owner or not. But flushing that line or swabbing it certainly gave us some increased flow through the scheme, but we don't believe it is sufficient for the summer demand. And so we've now got some months in anticipation of summer 2026, and that will allow us to work on a solution. And the Wairahuna treatment plant, notably, now turned off and decommissioned as a scheme with Te Mara Arawai, so cannot be resuscitated.
Just a question for you, Your Worship. So if the solution for next summer, would that be maybe housed down in that area?
Yes, we would utilise the plant because it's got power there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Again, sampling is underway. I just had a report this afternoon. The first 3 days are looking good, but we do need of the FAC levels, so that's around the network and the chlorine levels. We're just waiting for the turbidity results to make sure that those also are compliant. They take a few extra days, but we're not expecting any surprises there either. And once we have lifted oil notice on Balmoral Tuapeka, also about 3 years in place, then we'll look to link up Lawrence and decommission Lawrence water treatment plant.
In about 3 weeks, is that what you said?
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
There's a physical barrier preventing Lawrence from connecting to the scheme because we didn't want anyone turning a valve and allowing what was previously non-compliant water in. So that connection will take place, but it's literally digging a hole in the road and taking the barrier out to connect it.
I actually sprayed around your barrier for you a few weeks ago, so I'll let you line trim all the rank grass that's there.
With the consent,
Thank you.
Your worship, so with the consent for the old Lawrence water treatment plant,
Yes, so through you, your worship, there is a consent that was due to expire in the middle of March, 16th of March, that changes to the waste regulations. They've automatically extended it for a year.
Okay.
But we haven't wanted to rely on that. We wanted to get going. So that won't be an issue. The other thing that's planned for Lawrence is we're doing some mains cleaning in Milton because of the dirty water, so the no dares that we've reported previously. We've also arranged for that supplier to do some flushing in Lawrence for a couple of days as well, because we believe that once we start running the water in an opposite direction, that there will be some sediment stirred up. So we'll have that work done as well while they're mobilised. In terms of the wastewater plant, so we've reported a mains break near the pumping station, which was unfortunate, which entered the sea. So contractors were onto that very quickly and all of the appropriate people were notified. So that was unfortunate timing. And repaired a couple of repairs from the wind event. So at Clinton wastewater plant, the curtain within the contour that's now been repaired, and also the backwash tank at the Kai wastewater treatment plant. You can see there that just movement of the tank just in the wind tore some fittings out. So that's a brand new tank with the fittings fabricated to attach. Moving on to page 231, so we've had a pump station which is in Kai again. So a pump failed, 40-year-old pump, 40-year-old pump that has been replaced. When the suppliers went to install it, the contractors, they found nothing to pin it to. And we've also now seen that the second pump that's currently running is basically hanging in fresh air. The floor of the pump station has eroded away, so that we're monitoring that and looking at the replacement of the concrete base to secure both pumps too. Tapanui and Oroka, a couple of larger discharge valves have been put in place there and they've been proven successful with some heavy rain events. Allows us to stay within our discharge consent levels, and it's made quite a difference. Although kind of compliance related, the wastewater team wanted to talk about the ORC audits. So they are done each year, and this year was the easiest trip around the district. We've reported there, each one took less than 20 minutes. We generally have an hour on site. We're hoping that means that the results in the audit will reflect their positive comments. Those reports will be received in a few months, no doubt, but they certainly noticed difference and have talked about improvements that have been made over the last number of years. And notably, the Tapanui wastewater plant discharge sounds like you can drink it, Michelle. In future.
Recycle.
Yeah. Pond levels are all good. That's just, I guess, especially with a wet summer, they've already been pretty well maintained and looking good. Moving to page 232, so the asset management team continuing to work through items that have previously been reported. So the code of practice, there's a workshop held in March with industry reps to get feedback. That feedback's being compiled currently, and will be considered whether any changes need to be made to our document. Steve has asked to review that before any changes are made. And then that document will become live. And we're also going to share it with our partners in Southern Waters because none of them have a code of practice either. Te Mara Arawai are currently starting work on a industry document, continuing the work that was done under the NTU. But in the meantime, we want to have something in place to work to. Same with the as-bills. This is really getting our house in order around managing our assets. So telling our contractors what we want to see in terms of documentation, so we have good records. And that also goes with our track asset management tool trial, which is a way of tagging our assets and then making sure that our GIS data is kept up to date and has condition assessments against each asset. Board works, development and subdivisions, page 234, what you might be interested to know where we're seeing multiple requests from developers to fund network extensions. We obviously have a budget to maintain in that respect, so we've approved 6 this year, financial year, 5, sorry, are complete, and we just have to continue to assess and prioritise those upgrades to the network.
So this is new, this is land that people want to develop, but they want the services to them.
Correct.
So they pay for the services to get there. Yes.
No, what we've done for a few years now is if it's already within the urban area, we pay for the extension. If it's outside the urban area or in the transition, there can be a cost share arrangement. But as Linda's mentioned, we've only got a certain budget, so sometimes we don't have enough to get it to that area. But that was, and things like development contributions go towards funding that, but there's some set budgets. So the argument is, if you're within the urban area, we've sort of made a commitment that that's where we're gonna provide services.
So then, are
Couple
we
100,000.
stifling some areas from growing by doing that?
Well, no, if you're outside the urban area, you need a resource consent to develop it, and that's dealt with as part of that resource consent process.
But what I'm meaning is, West Otago in itself is, where the water pipes all the thing. There's a lot of growth down one, especially one road in particular, and you sort of think, is it worthwhile to stick your pipelines down there?
If there's someone who wants to do a development there, we would have a discussion with them and say, what's the potential for future growth in this area? If your development's 25% and council agrees to fund the other 75%, then that might still happen. But usually it's dependent on what is the growth, because otherwise, if we do that and there's no growth, we're standing there carrying the cost of 75% for that development to occur. So it's a balance.
Any more questions?
Just moving on to retake on page 235. Just a few comments there about the workload. Interestingly, January and February volumes of work down by 25% on the prior year. That might be condition of the pipes, but it also might be that there was we've had a wetter summer, so less no water calls, I imagine, would have made a difference there.
Or harder to find leaks.
Yeah, because everything's so green.
Your worship, through you, I do know some operational staff have flushed a few lines and there's been gravel and all sorts of things coming out. So that's fixing issues like that as well, and they must be coming out of the tanks, the old reservoir tanks, whatever that gravel's.
Or breaks.
Yeah. So that might be part of that.
And just noting the water meter reading and billing, so we've really got into a regular now. That had been a bit sporadic to start, but the team are driven by the revenue target that we need to make, and we've exceeded the revenue. There's still some more meters to read for the rest of the financial year, so they're quite pleased about their effort paying off, if you like. And also on rural tank inspections, so the first leaders have gone out to farms with missing or tampered restrictors. So that's the process that we implemented towards the end of last year. So that should hopefully start to see some better compliance. In the area that they're in currently, which we usually keep secret so that people aren't running back and putting the restrictors in, apparently is looking pretty good at the moment. So hopefully word gets round. You know, at the end of the day, if you're stealing water off your neighbours, that you'll be held to account for that.
Well, Your Worship, I just will say let's do it because we've been threatening it for a while. Yeah, it's good that it's happening. You know, I think people will pull their heads in a bit.
We've been doing quite a bit of planned maintenance. The team know that they've got budget this year that's going to be half next year, so they're getting done what they can, especially around hydrants, which we're required to exercise and test. We've done a couple of townships there and we'll have more to do. And inspecting valves as well, exercising those. And we've done Milton ahead of the work that's going to be done there to clean out pipes. We've also invested in 3 more mobile water tankers. So that's small tankers, potable water on trailers that we can take around. And that's really a cost-saving initiative, given if we organise a water tanker for a town, it's $4,200 a week to have a tank sitting anywhere. And so we can use the small ones, which have been paid for, but will pay for themselves pretty quickly. And also it's more community focused. So when we have water outages or water planned shutdowns, we just can take a tank there and not have to worry about getting a big tank there at huge expense. Got some spraying underway for stormwaters to help with the winter flows. And as I mentioned before, that NODES is approaching for Milton, and we were hoping that was going to be the first complete week in April. But New Plymouth had a bit of flooding recently, and they have begged the supplier to please stay up there for a bit longer and do some work. But we would still expect to see them down here in April.
Excuse me for ignorance, but what's NODES mean?
So it's a, I don't know what it even stands for, but it's basically a solution where they come and they take the water out of a hydrant or out of the network. They've got a mobile kind of truck thing with these filters, and they're pulling out all the dirt out of the pipe, and then they put the water back clean.
They flush it through at a high rate to flush any sediment and filter it out and put it back into the network.
Yeah.
So if there is any sediment in that area, it gets rid of it.
Yeah. So try and get some of that colour out that we've had in Milton.
And well, excuse me, through the chair, do they do that in stages right around the town, Linda?
Yes, so through the chair, we've identified pipes that we want them to go and clean. And so they've got a route that they'll do, and we will communicate with the community. There shouldn't be any disruption, but they will see different equipment around. We're also in some places looking to utilise the traffic management from the Union Street upgrades so that we can keep some costs down. And then they'll head out to Lawrence. And finally, inflow and infiltration. So really we've got a couple of small towns. So Clinton, Iwaka and Stirling are just within cooey of being fully compliant. And then we've got Balclutha and Milton that we have been focusing on, particularly Milton. We've seen some good progress, down to 56 non-compliant properties.
Balclutha's a lot higher than I thought it would be. Balclutha's a lot higher in places than I thought it would be. Yeah. Especially gully traps.
Easy to fix.
But only 129 to go to still improve. The property files are tagged, and so that often helps people become compliant if they're looking at selling.
I see. Yep.
Right, any further questions?
Still going.
Pardon?
Still going, huh? page are we up to?
Up to page 237.
Last one, mate.
Now we're on 238.
Can we tell John McLean Mechanics good to go?
Move our flat.
Love that.
Yeah.
No,
No,
yet, not till
not yet.
it's a road.
He's
So
not allowed to.
it's not good to go yet.
He can read the agenda item.
Your Worship.
Councillor Cotton.
Just a question, I suppose, about the, right, 4.2, the as-built specification, and then the tracker asset management tool. What do we do in the past? And I think this is a really good thing, just looking at it. So obviously it's going to be quite efficient. But what did we do in the past? Was it just a bit of a guess?
But or somebody needs to remember to tell the person who tracks all of this.
Okay.
And condition assessments haven't necessarily been tagged back to assets. And this is the tool is there, so we tag the assets. So if we have somebody come to maintain, or, check or service a pump, and they're a supplier, they can actually take a QR code and they can instantly upload information about what they've done. So we have it tracked on site and we're not relying on them having to tell us.
Yeah.
Oh, I think could be a bit of a game changer, actually.
It's a cost-effective option.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to invest a huge amount of money without knowing what the CCO is going to put in place.
Yeah, I think it'll be important information for the CCO, and also that will be helpful to them, as well as being important.
Shame you didn't have them around when that drain plug was left in the pipe. Then they might have remembered it was still in there.
Your Worship, are you going to give that as an award to someone that's late to meetings or something?
Councillor Cotton, if I could find the person responsible, I would probably insert it where the sun does not shine.
Yes. How many litres per minute was it holding back? Second, rather? 3
to 4.
Yeah.
But we can't, there's potentially sediment as well, so that's a combination of all of the swabbing.
It's still significant, isn't it?
But certainly, I guess if we're changing the direction of the water, so that's been sitting there for a long time, you can tell by the condition, but changing the direction of the water just meant it might have been tipped or something.
The other way, yeah.
Questions? You're quite happy to move that, are you? Receive that report, Councillor Cathwood.
Oh.
We're up to the finish, page 237.
I've scrolled down to where I want to ask a question.
So you do have a question?
No. Next topic.
I'm happy to move, Your Worship.
I'll second.
Second by Councillor. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Councillor Cathwood abstained. Language, please, it's being live streamed.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Right, we'll move on to page 238.
Your Worship, so this is the compliance update report.
Oh, you Karen now, thank you.
Thank you, sorry. I am Karen. So this report now incorporates the protozoa and bacterial compliance information that was previously only presented at the Risk and Assurance Committee. And with the change this triennium to council attend both, it didn't make sense to have a different report. So you find that information just embedded within the results. So a bit of an update on page 238 about what Te Mata Arawai have been up to. Certainly in terms of registering the new scheme and deregistering Wairahuna, as I said, it's a bit of a landmark result. And in January and February, the team has to report on every water supply, and all water supplies are required to do this. And we had our reporting into Te Mata Arawai a week before the deadline. And that's because we made some improvements last year using Water Outlook, which is our recording tool, and some hard work from the people doing it. Moving on to page 239, so the ORC and just listing the abatements that are in place there. That we still continue, some of these are historic, we still continue to work on improvements to try and get them lifted. But some of the abatements relate to things, particularly for wastewater, where the upgrades that were undertaken at plants haven't produced the results that were intended. So,
How many of them would be recent, Linda?
so under the first section, so the Lawrence Water Treatment Plant, that backwash non-compliance, that's just become compliant in non-compliant in March, although they have given us an extension.
That's going to be shut down soon anyway, isn't it? So,
And some of the abatement notices we won't be able to lift, and the process may well be new resource consents and initiating of that.
So that's part of a wider review that will be undertaken, looking at the new standards that were enacted in December. I guess the pleasing thing is to see lots of green on the graphs that start at page 240. Certainly those urban supplies for February, January, Purua, you'll see the red there for December, that's page 242. The red for December and January was when we were bypassing treatment so that we could produce enough water for stock, and that was put back in place in February. So some of those results were made. Yes, I know the red, you know.
Did that fencing issue ever get resolved down there, in the reservoir?
No, because that's with the capital delivery teams. Your question
Yeah.
would need to be directed to them. But I can follow that up.
Possibly, yeah, moving forward for our next meeting, if you could put that on the calendar, please, to highlights something that we were talking about earlier, Councillor Kennedy, that they're doing.
Crossovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which reservoir?
Oh, frustration.
So Linda, the 89% in the 244, page 242, Carker Point, that's because it was still rolling over into February, so that's what slowed it down. So then March will be green.
Those yellows are technical non-compliances as well, so there'll be some other reasons.
They just had an aluminium advisory. Is it a 1 day, one blip, one sample?
Yes, well, there's
That's
been
the recent one, right? Last week, this week.
Correct, so it's elevated. So it's been on an advisory, but with an elevated result, which is why we escalated, I guess, to people's attention. But that's our process that we're required to follow through the standards.
So the March result will be yellow again, or? Well, I mean, you've only reported up to February, but.
No, because these ones are around the UV and
Yeah.
residual disinfection and the distribution in the plant. They're not, so aluminium.
Yeah, won't affect in here.
And page 243, so you can see Moa Flat and Waitahuna, lots of red and orange there. So once we get into fall, it'll be April because we switched over in the middle of the month. So depending when the samples were taken, then we would expect to see that become green from April. And on 244 is the Balmoral Tuapeka water treatment plant. So you can see there was some residual FAC, so the yellow results there in the network, and that was in the Tuapeka East distribution. And we determined through some testing and other things that parts of Tuapeka East were actually being supplied by the Waitahuna plant.
Is that Luke?
Affected, yeah. Got affected results unexpectedly.
It should have been anyway. Tuapeka East come out of water treatment anyway, didn't they? Might be to do with break.
Yes, there was Link Road was one of them.
Yeah.
You see that we had a instruction from Arawai following the October 25 weather event when they believed we should have put a water notice on for Milton. That was around loss of network pressure when the reservoir ran empty. So we've got processes that have been designed, and those need to be provided to Arawai, I think it's by June or something. So we don't have a report. And the ensuing pages kind of cover off the aluminium, E. coli results and samples. So again, lower flat features, North Bruce distribution. We've had some 28 of 34 samples were collected were compliant, so 6 weren't. So we just have to keep on testing and retesting. And that's potentially then looking for other solutions, which might be whether we need to flush more frequently or whether we need to move sample points. Because if they're at the end of a line, that's often where aluminium especially will accumulate. Moving on to wastewater.
So that on, can I say?
Yes, you can.
So on that 248, is it? The Pururu one? Kakapa distribution network. So the water all starts at the Pururu. So on the FAC, 7 and 7, and then on the Kaka Point distribution, 36 samples and 16 compliant. So that's it.
Yes, so that's collecting samples from the distribution out at Kaka Point. So only 16 samples of the 36 taken met the standard.
So how's that? Is it losing its free available chlorine or something?
Yes, that can happen. And that could be because it's distance, but also it's used because it's doing its work on the way.
Biofilm, sediment, things like that.
Yeah.
But again, that would be because although 17th of February is when the water notice was lifted, that could still be results from then when we were bypassing. Page 247 covers off disinfection byproducts that are also part of the standards. So a couple of supplies affected there, usually temperature related. Waitahuna, that will be off the chart soon. We won't need to worry about Waitahuna. And Milton, there's been a couple of results there.
It'll be below the MAV, just above half the MAV.
And then moving on to page 248, so this is our wastewater compliance and the results coming out of there. So you can see there's some things, and that's, I don't know how to say the word, ammoniacal nitrogen. And those are the things that we know are a problem, not solved by other rates. So no new things reported, it's more just a continuation of things that have already happened, although we have seen some other areas go from red to be compliant. Take questions.
Questions, anybody? Pretty well detailed and informative. Thank you, Linda. Yeah.
allowed to move the report.
You are, councillor McAtamney, and you've got to actually get going shortly
No,
too, don't you?
I've got to wait for Mum to do that.
So moved by councillor McAtamney, seconded by councillor McCrosty. All those in favour? Aye. Carry. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks.
So, item number 10. I'd actually, going under the recommendations here, I'd take 1, 2 and 3. If someone would like to move them. 1 being that the council receives the reasons to move to public excluded session report. 2, the council approves moving public excluded council minutes, the 5th of March 26 into public, and 3, that the minutes of the public excluded section of the council meeting held on the 5th of March 26 be approved as a true and correct record. Does anyone who would like to move recommendations 1, 2 and 3, moved by councillor Harrison, seconded by councillor Catherwood? All those in favour? Aye.